Silence your cell phones. Flash photography is prohibited. Make sure you announce your name and media affiliation when asking questions. Limit of one follow-up, and raise your hand whether in person or on the Zoom. For the Texas Tech Red Raiders, student athletes are Adonis Arms and Davian Warren. And please make sure you raise your hand. We'll find you and open it up for questions for the student athletes.
Joseph Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. I have two questions. One for Adonis. We were talking to Bryson the other day, and he was saying when you come to Texas Tech, how difficult at first it is to learn this defensive philosophy. I guess, was there a moment for you where you're like, man, this is kind of unique, this is difficult and hard to kind of really learn?
Yeah, when I first got here, I didn't know what Coach Adams was talking about. I thought he was speaking a different language when he was like, force him side, no middle, and you got a trap on the baseline, if I say so, one dribble, or you're going with no dribble. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but Coach Adams, what I heard before I even got to Texas Tech was he was the guru of defense. So whatever he was saying had to be right because Texas Tech was good.
And then, Davian, how would you describe Mark Adams' defensive philosophy to someone who hasn't lived it, experienced it?
Like Adonis said, Coach Adams is a guru for defense. So, growing up playing basketball, you don't really work on defense. You pretty much work on, like, your offensive skill. So just coming to Coach Adams is learning different defensive techniques. And, our defense is pretty much a team effort. So, what Coach Adams says, it pretty much works.
John Teitel from hoopshd.com. For either of you, you've played against some great three-point shooters this year, like Kansas and Baylor come to mind. When you play a guy like Cormac Ryan, who's coming in making 7 threes against Alabama yesterday, what sort of things do you do on defense to try to limit him?
Davion already said it. It's a team effort. We got to force him to do things that he's not as comfortable with. Like, he's a great shooter. And like yesterday, he went 7 from 9 from 3. He hit some crazy threes. We just got to try to eliminate those as much as possible and force him to do other things that maybe he's not as great as, but he's definitely a great shooter.
Mason Horodisky with KMAC News back in Lubbock, Texas. Kind of for both of you guys, Notre Dame's also a team that's made up of a lot of veteran senior leadership. Have you guys been able to kind of draw comparisons between some of the seniors that the Fighting Irish have?
I know. I think we're kind of different than Notre Dame. I think we're probably a little bit more athletic. And, I don't know them as a whole, but I think, we're probably more of a family than those guys are. We are brothers. So, I'm pretty sure those guys are brothers, but I think it's going to come down to a tough battle tomorrow, and that's a pretty good team over there at Notre Dame.
Kind of a follow-up, I guess, on that. How do you guys feel like you've been able to gel so quickly together with having so many people coming into this program from so many different walks of life in college basketball?
We pretty much all, been nobody at some point of our careers, and now we're starting to become players inside this college basketball world. And even off the court, we all hang out, we all do everything together, so we never leave each other behind. So even on the court, you'll always see us. Like, whenever one of our brothers fall, we always sprint to go pick them up.
Ariel Schaefer, KLBK back in Lubbock. Davion, this is your first dance trip to the big dance, so kind of comment on the experience so far, especially with the way that you guys came out yesterday.
It's fun. Adonis just asked me this before we walked in here. I told him for my first experience, I'm already 1-0. So I don't plan on losing anytime soon. So it's going good so far.
Carlos Silva from the Lubbock Avalanche Journal for both of y'all, Adonis and Davion. Had a good performance yesterday, but how do you kind of stack that and make sure that you're consistent and you continue to do that going into Sunday?
Well, the game that we played is over with, so it's next game up, one game at a time mentality. We got a great team coming in, Notre Dame. They're in the first 4, and they're a really good team, shooting the ball, attacking, scoring inside. So we just got to focus on what we got tomorrow and do the best we can and eliminate them and advance in this tournament.
Piggyback what Adonis said, just eliminate them and, really focus on defense. With this team, we have anybody can go off on this team, so we're not really worried about offense. We're worried about locking them up.
Adonis, Bryce Miller from the San Diego Union Tribune. You guys always play defense. Tech's been known for defense. None of that surprises anybody. But when you can score as a team the way you did the other night, how does that change things in terms of how tough it is to match up with you guys when you're playing that well offensively too?
I think we're a really tough team to beat when we're playing the defense that we can play, and we have like Davion said, unlimited firepower from anybody that can go off and score like that. I think that we're a really hard team to play against and to scout, in my opinion. When we can score like that and play defense the way we do, I think we're just a really, really hard team to beat.
Alex Coyle, Arizona PBS. All 4 teams that are playing on Sunday have had fan bases travel really well. What kind of environment are you expecting, and how important is fan support as you guys move on in the tournament?
No, this Red Raider Nation, they travel, man. Like, they travel, so I think we're going to have our family with us. Wherever we go, however far we go, we're going to have Red Raider Nation right behind us.
Yeah, what Adonis said, you know, Red Raiders been behind us since day one. You know, they've been supporting us. You know, we did a very special thing by not losing in Lubbock. So, you know, they're going to support us all the way.
Dana O'Neill with The Athletic. Adonis, you guys have accomplished a lot as a program over the last few years and especially this year, but what's left to prove? It seems like you guys feel like there's still a little bit of a chip there that's got to be removed. What are you guys out to do here?
Oh, we out to win the whole thing. That's why we here, right? March Madness, we here to win the whole thing. I mean, I believe in this team. I believe in Coach Adams, our coaching staff, everybody behind the scenes, and I believe we can do it if we just stick to what Coach Adams preaches to us every day, continue to work hard, believe in each other, believe in yourself. You never know what will happen, and this is March Madness. It's the craziest time.
As a follow-up, what is the chip though? Like, what fuels you guys?
We are underdogs. We've been underdog our whole life, so it's time to prove ourselves that we belong at this stage. Like, I've been to junior college. Adonis been to a Division II and junior college. Most of us been at lower Division I's, so we haven't been recruited. We weren't these 5-star kids. We're ready to prove that we belong.
Joseph Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. On that note, for both of you, just how does it feel to actually, I mean, when you think about your journey for both of you to go from junior college to make it all the way to here to be playing in the tournament, you know, what would you kind of tell yourself back in junior college? You know, what kind of emotions come through?
I'll just say, you know, never stop believing in God, never stop working, don't quit. You never know what's around the corner. I mean, if you quit, you have no chance of making it this far anyway, so why stop on your dreams when you can just keep working and eventually get there? So I would just tell my younger self, keep working.
Yeah, just keep working. Stay with the course. There's going to be bad games. There's going to be great games. There's going to be bad practices. There's going to be great practices. You know, you just got to stay level-headed, never get too high, never get too low, and just believe in yourself at all times.
Carlos Silva, Lubbock Avalanche Journal. For both of y'all, just going back to that fan base, I know a couple of your teammates had some parents, family members in the stands. How much does that fuel you all when you have the people that have kind of watched your journey, especially a Bryson Williams, who certainly has been a leader for you all? And not only that, but then just can you kind of speak to the emotions personally, and then just for your teammates when you see people like that, when you guys had senior night, and then now with Bryson having his family and some other guys as well, like Buzo?
I think I'll speak for myself first. I always call my mom, my sister, my superheroes. So for them to see my journey from when I was at Mason Community College, now I'm at Texas Tech in the second round of March Madness is surreal. I mean, I never would have thought that I would even be at Texas Tech, to be honest with you. But just seeing them in the stands cheering me on, cheering my teammates on, and a guy like Bryson that's always working in the morning and just a straight dog, really, to see his family in the stands cheering him on and him still doing his thing, killing is crazy. I mean, like, he's a great player. To see his family cheering him on and Red Raider Nation behind us cheering us on is a beautiful thing.
My family personally are back home right now, and I know for sure that they're watching, but Red Raider Nation and all my teammates' families that's involved is considered my family, so that's how I look at it.
For both of you to the left.
Give name and affiliation.
Oh, sorry, again? Okay. Bryce Miller, San Diego Union Tribune. When you're playing defense as well as you can as a team in a game, do you see other teams? Can you tell they're gassed? Do you see something in their eyes? Is there anything where you can see kind of the demoralizing result of them trying to play against that defense for a whole game?
I mean, we just focus on ourselves and playing a full 40 minutes. We don't really focus on the other team if they're gassed or tired or anything like that. We just focus on us and what we have to do to play the best defense we can and follow in Coach Adams' footsteps.
Yeah, like he said, we just worry about ourselves. We don't really care if they're gassed or not gassed. We want them at their full strength, so there's no excuses.
Eamon Brennan, The Athletic. You guys talked about, particularly Adonis, not imagining that you'd be here. When you were in community college, was there a particularly difficult moment in your career or times when you wouldn't have been able to foresee yourself, not just at this level, but progressing in your career?
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's ups and downs to anybody's journey. I mean, like, I don't really know I just think, like, when you're in JUCO, it's a worldwide thing that's, like, where the dogs are. Like, if you make it out of JUCO, you can make it anywhere. I was told that I was a diamond in the rough when I was at Mason Community College and never to quit. So, I mean, for the people that were supporting me back then to now, I just thank them for never giving up on me and continuing to tell me that I have, like, a bright future and I'm really good at basketball and stuff like that to actually, like, keep me going.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Sir. And you defend better than I do. Reminder to everyone, silence your cell phones, announce your name and media affiliation when asking questions. Limit of 1 follow-up. Raise your hand, whether it's in person or on the Zoom. We have with
I
us.
need you coaching my team. You're good at this.
You defend better. Bringing in Texas Tech Red Raiders head coach Mark Adams, and he'll open things up with a statement.
You're so excited to make it through the first round, and we've got an opponent that's got a lot of experience, won a lot of games, team that's has a lot of momentum. Winning 2 games this last week, playing with tremendous confidence, and have a great coach in Coach Bray. So we got our hands full, but we're excited about the challenge.
Mason Hordisky with KMAC News back in Lubbock. Coach, last time Notre Dame and Texas Tech played was all the way back in 1976. You were still a student at Texas Tech. Was just wondering if you happen to remember that game.
Are you going to bring up my age? I actually don't remember that game, but I remember Notre Dame winning a lot of games. You know, their team I've watched, and I've studied Coach Bray's team. He's been there over 20 years and was an assistant at Duke, and for Coach K, and great offensive mind, has a great relationship with his players. So he's been one of the guys that's I've always felt that was kind of a mentor to me, and a guy I'd read about and watch what he does and has done in the past. Great coach.
And then kind of looking towards, obviously, tomorrow now. Notre Dame, you kind of touched upon it, as a team that's already played 2 games in this tournament. I guess what are some of the pros and cons of playing a team that's had that extra game and might be a little bit more battle-tested in the tournament so far?
Yeah, you can look at it a couple of ways, but they're experienced, and they've, again, every time you win, you're more invested, and they've had some tough games, and it shows that they're a tough team, resilient team, and a lot of leadership, great coaching, and really good players, and most importantly, they're playing with a lot of confidence.
Dane O'Neill with The Athletic. Mark, your players consider themselves underdogs. That's how they value themselves. How much does that play into how you guys play with your defense? I mean, that mentality, how much does it feed the way that they just defend? Because not everybody likes to defend.
Well, I resent that a little bit. So, well, you know, we have an identity, and that's defense, and our guys certainly have bought into it. We have great guys that players that understand how important defense is, and you know, as a coach, it's challenging to get some teams, some players to understand how important it is to guard on one end and then go down and score and be unselfish. But so many of our players came from humble beginnings, and they've had some difficult times even getting here. I mean, there's so many great stories of these guys and how people gave up on them. They didn't give up on themselves, and a lot of these transfers are they've got a lot of scars, and they're tough people, and they've got a dream of getting to the national championship and winning it, and certainly proud that I get the opportunity to coach these guys.
Carlos Silva, Lubbock Avalanche Journal. Coach, you alluded to some of those transfers. Can you speak to Adonis and what he brings to this team just from an outside perspective, not on the ball? Because obviously everyone kind of knows what type of player he is, but what kind of person is he based on his journey as you've kind of seen with your journey going JUCO, college ranks, kind of all those?
Yeah, he's one of those that, started out in junior college. I think he was a walk-on, had to prove himself, and then on to Division II and then Division I. But he's a guy that's been the player at a couple of the programs, and then at Winthrop, I think he was more of he was a sixth man, I think, but unbelievable sixth man. And that's a lot of kind of the personality of our team. We've had a lot of these guys that were the player, and they come in here and they're part of the pack, and they trust and believe in that. But Adonis, unbelievable personality, always has a smile on his face. It's contagious. Everybody loves him, and he's grown a lot as a player in that he's much more disciplined at taking shots, and we've had to move him over to the point guard spot and at times, and he just wants to win, and really, really proud of his improvement and the progress he's made over the last 3 months.
Joseph Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Danny Sprinkle from Montana State was blown away at just the sheer size and athleticism of your defenders. When you're looking to recruit a defender, what is kind of the typecast? So, what are you really looking for? And I guess what does it say that you were able to find all these guys from humble beginnings like junior colleges and other places?
Well, I've said this before, but I think it stole it off of a movie, The Miracle on Ice. The movie that the guy talks about, he didn't recruit maybe the very best players, but he recruited the right guys and the right players. And all the way through here, we've done our due diligence and worked on trying to find guys that would buy into being coached and had great reputation of being good people and playing hard. And it starts with that right there. If you got a guy that wants to be coached and coached hard, then you're a very fortunate head coach. And I'm very blessed and lucky to be able to coach these guys. But it starts with that, and we've got guys that have size and length, and that certainly helps when you're putting together a defensive team. So it starts with character and the toughness, and then along with that, we like the athleticism, size. Don't really have the shot blocker like we had back with Tariq Owens back several years ago. But these guys take charges and sacrifice their body, get on the floor, and understand if they play hard, they got a chance to win.
Ariel Schaefer, KLBK back in Lubbock. Coach, we just talked to Davion about this being his first time to the big dance, Bryson too. Just from your perspective as a coach, seeing them so excited to be here for the first time through your eyes, what does that mean to you? Yeah,
those guys are special because this is their first time, and they've worked extremely hard to get here, and our entire team is happy for these guys and that they get to share this experience with them, and it's such a, until you've been here and been in this NCAA tournament, it is really hard to describe the emotion, the satisfaction of being in a tournament and winning and even being here and all the things that go with it, with the interviews and being in the spotlight, and they've enjoyed it and they appreciate it at the same time. Those two guys kept it all in perspective and know we got to keep winning and not let these distractions hinder their performance or the team. So we've got a very mature group, got a lot of experienced guys, and that's certainly helpful.
Hi, Coach. Bryce Miller from the San Diego Union Tribune. Everyone knows what you guys are capable of defensively, but when you score like you did the other night, when you pair those two things together so effectively, how does that change potential, ceiling, whatever you want to call it?
Well, we weren't really planning on scoring that many points. There were just so many naysayers saying we couldn't score. We just thought we'd prove a point and try to get to 100. I think we scored more points than anybody in the tournament. So, but even though we rely on defense, you got to have I've always said that your offense can knock somebody out, and you need to be able to score. And proud of our guys for doing that. And I wish I could just bottle that up and we can, have it for tomorrow as well. But sharing the ball, we had 23 assists, and so that kind of reinforces to our guys we got to just share the ball and have good spacing. But we had 6 guys in double figures, and that's how it's been all year. We've always had someone. Bryson's been our one guy that's been really consistent. There's been someone along the way that would help us win a game, coming off the bench and making big plays for us.
Do you notice, and if so, how late in games the wear and tear on other teams against your defense? Do you see it in their eyes? Do you see it in their legs? Do you notice what that does to the other two opponents when you play defense at the top level?
Well, we try to sell that. That's what we would try to do, and kind of the old boxing mentality. We'd hope we can get guys where they just want to throw in the towel, and we wear them down, and we substitute a lot. So, that's the plan on. When you get to this level and when playing the best in the country, that may not be wouldn't be as true, but that's been kind of our mentality, and that certainly has worked for us over this past season.
Coach Troy Hirsch with Fox 5 San Diego. With the one day you have to prepare for Notre Dame, without going too deep into X's and O's, what do you focus on most in this preparation day?
That three-point line. They're so good at shooting threes, and that's always the very first thing I look at box scores, and when I'm scouting a team I go to the three-point line. Who can shoot threes and who can't, and they got a bunch of three-point shooters. So certainly a sleepless night for me last night, and a lot of worry to try to find ways to find those guys in transition, and they've got a lot of great sets to get those guys open. So our team understands that. We've got a huge challenge with guarding them three-point line because we have so many three-point shooters.
And then, Coach, there was the players were talking about being underdogs, but it seemed like Notre Dame has a big fan base here, whether they've traveled or they're just local, and you may be coming in as maybe the villain, so to speak, as the higher seed.
Wait a second.
Well, everybody loves the underdog in the tournament. I'm wondering if you'll use that and mention that to your players before the game.
Yeah, well, we played that role many times, and we've been in some hostile environments, and there's a lot of, we go to Kansas and Iowa State. There's a lot of great fan bases, and played a lot of against great players, guys that are future NBA players, and so. But this is still a neutral game. We're going to play our best, and we love we love playing in front of big crowds. Our guys responded really well to it, and I think every game we've been in. So I think they enjoy the pressure and the excitement of that.
This side.
John Titel from hoopshd.com. I wanted to ask about O'Banner. He averaged 10 and 5 this year, but he's now had 4 NCAA tourney games and 4 double-doubles.
How about that? That's great.
Is it just something that he's a special kid who knows how to rise to the occasion when the lights are brightest or something?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think first thing, he's just a great competitor, and he wants to keep this team alive and knows how important it is to do whatever he can to do that. And he's been one of our best offensive rebounders and made big shots for us. And his defense has just really improved. So he wants to do whatever it takes to be on the floor and get those minutes to help us win and then find ways to win.
Alex Coyle, Arizona PBS. Going off an earlier question, it seems like all 4 teams playing on Sunday, their fan bases have traveled really well. What kind of environment are you expecting, and how important is fan support as you advance in the tournament?
Well, you just look back at our home record. We're undefeated and 18-0, and we've had great fan support. The Red Raider Nation's always followed us, and so we expect a big crowd here, and having fans support you and be behind you, it means a lot from a coach's perspective. It helps me get these guys fired up and keep them going for 40 minutes, and the guys certainly appreciate it. And yeah, we should have a great showing of Red Raider fans here tomorrow.
Coach Levon Whitaker with ABC 57 in South Bend. As a matchup here that's between offensive-minded and defensive-minded teams, who's the one guy that you're in particular that you're trying to shut down tomorrow? You can look at the guy that dropped 29 points yesterday, but you can also try to find out who's going to have the hot hand tomorrow.
Well, who's the offensive mind? Who's the defensive mind? That's I certainly wouldn't want Coach Brady to be offended by that. I know he's got a great offensive mind and defensive mind, so they play really good defense as well and block out and don't give up a lot of second, third shots. But when you look at their team, we just have a lot of respect for them. They got some really good inside scorers, then they can take it inside, and they got all those three-point shooters. The point guards can not only are good at facilitating, but also can drive. So. When you talk about stopping three-point shooters, you better not let them drive to the middle and let them kick it out. There's a lot of ways to score. Then we got to stop all their sets. So I don't, it's just difficult to say. And neither one of us have a whole lot of time to prepare, so I don't know exactly what he's going to do with only another day to get ready for our defense. And it's kind of same on our end. I mean, we don't have a lot of time. They've got tons of sets, and they run them really, really well. So at the end of the day, it comes back. We just got to play well and do what we do best and stick to our identity, and I'm sure they'll do the same.
Any other questions for Coach Adams? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all. God bless you. Appreciate it.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.